Hey guys, it's Aubrey with Muttley Plans. I hope y'all have had a fantastic week. In this video, you may notice, especially in the first little bit, me moving my hands a lot and gesturing. It's because I thought I was just going to do a live, plan with me. But I quickly realized that the video was gonna be well over an hour long, maybe like an hour, 15 hour and a half, and I decided not to make y'all sit through that. In fact, I'm pretty confident the majority of y'all would not want to sit through that. So, I've gone ahead, I'm doing a voiceover, but just disclaimer, that's why the hands are kind of moving around and stuff. So for this week, I decided to go very simple. I did start back classes this week, so I thought it appropriate to use this tape. I don't even think it's washi tape. In fact, it's perforated every 12 inches, and it's a ruler tape, which is really interesting. I got it about a year ago at Walmart in the clearance aisle. I really like it. It's this very vibrant yellow. It's cool, yeah. But it was a little bit too thick for me, so I decided to tear it down the middle, as you see me doing right here, and I put the inches on the top and the centimeters on the bottom. I just thought framing the page like that would just, I don't know, look good. So that's what I decided to go with. I think I may have mentioned at the beginning of this video, I wanted to go simple today. Or not today, but this week. Mainly because I knew I was going to be starting a completely different schedule. I'm still going to my main job in the morning times, and then I'm going to work, and then after that I'm studying. That was pretty much my week. Not to give any spoilers. So I wanted this to be a simple spread that I could update the day of and not be too cluttered, because I really wasn't sure what to expect, and so I wanted to leave myself room to plan or change plans or whatever I needed to do. So I really did enjoy the effect that tearing this washi gave this spread. I don't think I have used this washi tape before, and if I have, maybe once. And so I really enjoyed this bright yellow and how it's going. That's me showing y'all just a quick peek into my everyday carry, which is a Sterling ink compact weeks, or it's an into. I'll put it down in the description box what that is. But anyway, it's the weeks version of Sterling ink. I really like it. It is my everyday carry, which is why it's packaged up in that lovely little cover. It is an all leather cover. I did get it off of Etsy. I'll try to put the shop below in the description as well. It's a couple of years old, but I do believe the shop still sells these. Now, just looking for different stickers in my sticker book. So I don't know if you can tell, but what I like to do is if I have an idea of what I have going on that day or even that week, I go ahead and I search through all of my sticker collection, and I collect multiple stickers on the back of my hand or the back of my thumb there, just to just to save me a little bit of time flipping through my sticker book to find different stickers. In this case, I was looking for a to-do sticker and I could not find one, so I decided to settle for this important sticker, which came out of the very first Happy Planner sticker book that I got 8 years ago. So I highly doubt that that's available anymore. But then I remembered later on, because this is still in my main sticker book, that I have a second sticker book. Here it is. And this is where I put mostly colors or things that are alike together. And so I was more easily able to find what I was looking for, which was a script to-do sticker. I additionally was looking for a way here to mark in my class days. My class days are Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then I get Friday off. Yay! So I wanted to go ahead and mark those in. I know I mentioned probably in a couple of videos now that I am deathly afraid of missing a class. I haven't been in college in 8 years, and so like I did my darndest, and I'm happy to report it is Friday. I did not miss a single class, and I was not late for a single class. I am, however, the oldest person in my classes, but that's all right. I just feel old. It's okay. Now I'm just taking my mild liner, and it is in the color dark gray. I love this color. It's a great color. And I'm just using that to mark in the time that my watch. Oh no. I'm using that to mark in the time that I'm going to call my mom. I call my mom every day at 8 p.m. And so I always just draw a line right there. That's usually my cutoff for whether going to bed if I'm getting up super early, or, okay, I'm done with any of the non-fun things of life for the day, and then I'll just relax afterwards. I did want to go ahead and mark in on Monday that I was filming, because that's exactly what I was doing at that time. I wound up doing my setup and my first planning session on Monday. Usually I like to do my setup on Sundays and then start planning on Monday and do it day by day, but sometimes my schedule just does not align with that, and so I'll wind up doing my setup and my first planning session all at the same time. It doesn't necessarily bother me, other than it just means that it's a longer planning session, and especially on weekdays, I don't always have like a ton of time to sit down for a whole entire hour and a half to play in my planner, though I do wish I did. And I'm sorry in advance, you probably hear my pups up and around and walking. That is just life, and life is lifing. So yeah, you'll probably hear some sighs, some groans, all of that. And yeah, it just is what it is. I do have 4 large dogs, and I'll put them in on the screen here because I'm just, writing down my to-do list in the video. But I have 4 dogs. They're large dogs. I've got Elvira, who's the eldest, Velcro, Ethel, and then Macy, who is the youngest. So they are all very loved and rotten. They own the house. So you will hear them all throughout this video, because as we speak, I've got 2 of them sitting beside me, one in the doggy bed, and then another one that's walking around. So just letting you know, you're going to hear signs of life. So I decided, I did find 4 of these little pencil outlines. I got them from an Agenda 52 chores book that I've had that one for probably 3 years. If you don't know, Agenda 52 is a Hobby Lobby brand. As far as I know, it is only sold at Hobby Lobby. So if you shop there, then they're pretty easy to come by. If you don't shop there, you probably won't be able to get these books. And then, as you can see, I am flipping through my Happy Planner Farmhouse booklet to find a coffee mug because Monday was so special. Me and my husband KB were able to have coffee on the front porch together, and it was wonderful. It was a great slow Monday. I didn't go into work or the main job really because it was, it was Monday and I had my first day of school, so decided to stay home, have a little bit of coffee. It was a good slow morning. I think I woke up at 7:30, which is 2 hours before my class starts, and it was nice. I am definitely a fan of slow mornings, of if you're able to, getting up a couple hours before you have to be anywhere. That way you can enjoy coffee, maybe do a little bit of Devo or a little bit of journaling, planning, all sorts of things. So I'm definitely enjoying that part of this season of life, this being in school again. My job before, I was getting up at like 4 a.m., 4:30, so I couldn't enjoy a slow morning. So I am definitely looking forward to pumping the brakes and not being quite as early of a riser as my former job required. So on Monday, I only had one class, and it was my Chemistry 1. So I am in 2 college classes. Both of them have labs. I've got Chemistry 1, and then I've got Principles of Biology 1. So chemistry, I've never had. I was one of those students when I was in school 14 years ago that avoided that like the plague. And luckily, athletic training did not require a chemistry course. But unfortunately, PA school does. It involves Chemistry 1 and 2. And Principles of Biology actually is going to be my easy course. I was so excited to be in it because biology, I get it. I mean, my bachelor's was in kinesiology, my master's was in athletic training. So, we went over, I had so many classes with the Krebs cycle and just different things, having to learn about cells and all of that. So it's like home to me almost to go to biology. I'm having to take Principles of Biology 1 and 2 because it's a requirement at the institution that I'm at to take Principles of Biology 1 and 2 before I can take genetics. So my past collegiate career for undergrad, I took a zoology course, and unfortunately that is not enough for me to get into the genetics class or the microbiology or the organic chemistry. So I'm having to take Principles, which I'm not really crying about because I consider that my easy class while I have this chemistry mammoth that is lording over me right now. So let me know in the comments, like, in school, what was your favorite subject? I would love to know. Mine was actually not science, even though I went into a scientific field-ish. My favorite subject was actually English. I loved writing. In fact, my favorite parts of college were when I got to write like research papers and stuff, or papers about research that I read. However, I 100% do not like having to conduct research. I love reading the work that other people have done in research, but I hate doing research. I did one research project in grad school, and I never will again. It was awful. It was like herding cats, and yeah, it was crazy. So if you do research, kudos to you. It's definitely not for me. Alright, so Tuesday and Wednesday, I did go into work early. I think it was like 7 to 9, because I did have class. So I went into work, I worked a couple of hours, and then I went straight from work to class. That was a little bit gut-wrenching for me, just because work is like 15 to 20 minutes, depending on traffic, from class, and so I was worried that I would walk in late. Luckily, every day this week that I had to do that, I was about 5 minutes early for class, which, grand scheme of things, isn't that bad. And yeah, I was able to slip in and didn't have any issues, so I was pretty happy about that. Tuesday was a pretty nerve-wracking day in general. Well, I wouldn't say nerve-wracking. I think Monday was a little bit more, like, worrisome for me, I guess. My main issue was, like, on Tuesday having to go straight from work and then drive straight to class and getting to class on time and everything. But I will say Tuesday, even though I had 2 different classes, actually I had 3 classes on Tuesday because I had a lab. But even though I had 3 classes and everything, it really wasn't that bad, because I found out on Tuesday that all of my classes are in the exact same classroom. So I basically just have to stay in that classroom and not move, and I'll be in class on time. Except for the first class, I have to try to, actually arrive on time. But everything after that is pretty easy, and I was pretty stoked about that, because if you know colleges at all, sometimes you may have a class in one building and then 15 minutes have a class like, I don't know, like a 5 to 10 minute walk away, and it can be kind of hectic to get there. But luckily, I don't have to worry about that. Hallelujah. I did take a couple of naps this week. So what I did is I took that mild liner, that dark gray mild liner, and then I took my Tombow, my yellow Tombow, and I used that to mark the length of time that I napped. I did decide to be a little artsy-fartsy. I'm still not sure if it worked out, but I did it anyway. And I tried to make it look like, I'm going to mess it up, like a beaker, almost, if that makes sense, anyway, with the little marks, and I don't know, I tried, alright, I'm still learning some things and remembering them, because I've definitely lost a little bit of knowledge. But anyway, I did try to make it to where it had those little ticks. And then I have spent the vast majority of this week, as soon as I come home, I'll have like a 2 to 3 hour break. And then I just go to work studying. Chemistry does not come easy to me. And math for sure does not come easy to me, and so I knew going into this new chapter of my life that I would have to work extra hard. And so I'm doing about 2 to 3 hours a day focused on chemistry. And then later on in the week, after, I get my first biology lecture under my belt, I did take a break and do a few hours of working on biology. I'm just not as concerned about biology because biology is a lot of memorization in my mind versus chemistry. Like, you have to know the processes and the why you're doing what you're doing. Otherwise, you're going to get the problem wrong. And so I've definitely focused a lot this week on figuring out the why. Like, why do we have to do it this way? And it's, knock on wood, not been too terrible. But it makes me nervous. Math in general makes me nervous. This is kind of a new thing for me, to be doing in my planner, as weird as it sounds, but like I'm getting to mark in a lunch break on my planner, and it's been very interesting to me, to say the least. Or for me, to say the least, because usually before I would just work straight through lunch. Like, I wouldn't take a lunch at all. But with this schedule, it's almost like my lunch is built in. And yeah, I'm kind of enjoying it, because like that built-in lunch, I mean, I do eat, but then I also have some time to let go and get stuff done. Like on Tuesday during my lunch break, I realized I needed to print out a paper, so I was able to take my lunch and go print out the paper that I needed for my class. And it was just, it's been a very interesting switch for me, because I don't believe I've actually had like a legitimate lunch break since I got out of my master's program. Just because, like, in the collegiate setting and military and all of that, you don't really get to leave work where you're working. Like, you're on the entire time that you're at work. And if you're a collegiate athletic trainer, you're on even when you're not at work, because people will be calling and asking questions. And so it's definitely been a very interesting experience for me with the lunch break, and having, it seems like they're going to be pretty consistent lunch breaks. And so I'm looking forward to that. So on Wednesday, my husband and I were able to go catch lunch together, because Wednesday was his orientation for nursing school, which was super exciting. And as it turns out, where he's going to school, like the building that he's going to be in for his entire nursing school, is like 2 buildings away. It's like a 2-minute walk for us to meet up, because the building where all of my classes are is not that far away. And so we're both super excited, because if our breaks match up, like our lunchtime should match up to a degree, we plan on at minimum meeting up, maybe having some lunch together, or maybe even going to work out during that time. So both of us are super excited. He did get his official schedule, and so that was nice to know kind of where he would be at time-wise. So pretty excited about that. Wednesday night also, so I got off the phone with my mom, finished a little bit of studying, and then we've been going out on our porch at night. So my husband and I are watching the girls, and it's dusk out, and Elvira, our eldest, which I'll put a picture up of her, she walks towards us with something in her mouth. And of course, my husband's like, Elvie, drop it. And so she dropped it, and it was a baby rabbit. And it was alive. It wasn't harmed at all. So I'm not sure what she was doing with it. I'm sure she had nefarious intent eventually, but luckily she didn't injure it. And so we were able to find like the rabbit nest after we Googled, because you know, Google is all knowing, right? But we Googled to see like what should we do, because I growing up was under the impression that like I was under the impression that if you touched a baby animal, its parent would smell the human scent and would not take it back. And so I was kind of worried about that, but then we looked into it a little bit more on Google, and basically it said that's a myth. So I'm hoping that's a myth, because we found the little hole that the rabbit came out of, like the little ditch. It's not really a hole for him, but more of a ditch. And we just set the rabbit into the ditch, and we left, and then we went back out like maybe 6 minutes, 6 or 7, less than 10 after, and it was no longer in the hole. So I'm hoping that it went wherever it needed to go. It wasn't like a teeny tiny baby rabbit. It was like it's probably like a 3-week-old rabbit or so. But anyway, so that was kind of an interesting highlight of my evening. I really needed that Wednesday, because I was struggling with a chemistry problem. Like, I probably worked the same chemistry problem over and over again for like 2 hours, and my head was just gone at that point. Anyway, so you may hear my husband in the background. He is talking with his sisters. But anywho, so on Thursday, I had another pretty long study session, and it was actually a breath of fresh air, because it was mostly bio. So I spent about an hour and a half or maybe 2 hours on chemistry, and then I spent the rest of my time doing biology. And it's so much easier, guys. And plus, for biology, because it's a lot of writing, at least the way I study, because I learn by writing and drawing pictures and stuff like that. So it was really nice, because I got to use pens, like, and make the notes colorful and underline and color coordinate. So it was a breath of fresh air getting to do biology. So, but yeah, the biology was nice. I got a little bit of a lunch break again, got to rest again, and yeah, just kind of enjoy. Alright, back to the actual planning of this video. So basically, my small sticker shops, where it's just sticker sheets of different things. As you can tell, I have a love of Coffee Monsters Co. I take those and I just keep them in a little pack. I do have a little sticker flip book. However, I've found that it's just easier, and I tend to use them a lot more if I just have them in this little stack. And I have that little gold clippy to the right of the screen there. That's what I use to keep them together, so they're not just, loose and free flying everywhere. So on Friday, it was a little different because I had no class at all. However, I did have work, and work's a little bit different because I am, because this is Friday when I'm actually recording this, but on today I worked 9 to noon, and then I'm gonna go back and I'm going to work like 6:30 to 10 p.m., which is kind of a really weird schedule, but welcome to collegiate athletics, I guess. So I'm working most of today. I have this little 6-hour period of time, and I'm just using it to kind of rest. I used it to film this video and record, and using the time before I have to go back. It's actually getting close to the time that I need to be getting ready. I've got like 10 minutes left. But yeah. And I don't know if you've noticed, I have been using this Majohn pin. So it is the Majohn A2, I believe. I will also put that in the description, the name of that pin. I love that pin. I've been riding with it all week. I know some people prefer the Jinhao 10, but I've noticed that my Majohns actually don't dry out as quickly or as badly as Jinhao 10s. I've noticed Jinhao 10s, I have the worst luck with them going dry on me, even if I only didn't write with them for one day. And that just kind of bothers me. Like, if I have a pin, I want it to write when I want it to write. And so I definitely prefer the Majohn over Jinhao 10s. And the ink that I have in the Majohn is Noodlers American Eel. I don't know too much about it because it came as a sample, but I do like how dark it is, and I will have to do some research or look into it because I'm thinking it may be a document black ink, because in my note taking, I have like brushed up against it with a highlighter, and it hasn't really smeared at all, especially if it's been down for a while. So I'm interested to see if that's a document ink. If it is, I may wind up getting a bottle of it. I haven't fully decided. I'm really tempted, especially going into school, to just have a document black ink. I'm just not sure what brand I want to get. So if you have any suggestions on document black ink that you really like for your fountain pen, please let me know below. On Saturday, I'm going to be working as well. I'm going to be working 7 to probably about noon again, 7 a.m. to noon. And then after that, I'm going to have a little bit of a break before me and the hubs go on a date. So me and the hubs try to go on a date, and we've been pretty consistent the last few months, but every 2 weeks. So every other week, once a month he plans a date, and then I also plan a date once a month, and it just works out that it's every other week that we get to go on a date. We really like this because we feel like it's manageable. We're not just, throwing money out willy-nilly, if that makes sense. I also like it because it's consistent enough where I know it's coming, but it's not all the time to where it interrupts my schedule, I guess. I don't know how to explain it. That sounds really weird when I'm talking about going on a date with my husband, because I love going on dates with him. He's phenomenal, best friend. But I don't know, it makes me look forward to it more because it's not every week, if that makes sense. Because when it gets to be every week, while I shouldn't, I begin wondering like, oh my gosh, this is a stress on money, time, all of that. And so I don't get to enjoy it as much. Whereas with it being every other week and he's in charge of one and I'm in charge of the other, I feel like it's more balanced for us in the relationship. And then 2, I just feel like it's less of a financial burden on one or the other of us. And I don't know, I just like it. And we're also guaranteed that every week, especially or every other week, which is good because between my schedule, and you can see how hectic it's going to be between school and my new job, and his schedule being a nursing student, it just works out really well. And so for this week, I did decide to draw a couple of boxes, which I really like how it turned out. I'm going to have to do more of that with the Tombows. But instead of putting down the little half boxes or quarter boxes to denote things, I just took my Tombow and I drew a square around the time frame that I knew stuff was going to be happening. And I really like the look that it gave because it didn't look overly cluttered. I didn't go sticker heavy on this spread, and I really like it. I like how open it looks. I'm not gonna say that I'm gonna switch completely to this, but I do like that for this week it was just minimal and it was light. And I also think that the yellow helped with that. And I definitely enjoyed pretty much exclusively going with one color and then just using gray and black as accents. So you'll probably be seeing a similar setup like this in future weeks, because it's just, I don't know, it's very classy to me, I feel. So, but anyway, I am going to leave y'all here. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, think about giving it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, feel free to subscribe as well. I like doing videos on pretty much everything planner related. I have a reading journal, I have a bullet journal now, and then I also do fountain pen content. So if you're interested in that, give me a like and subscribe. Other than that, I will see you in the next video.